You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. It is that time of year. You know it. It is that time of year where darn near every website publication does that thing where they put lists out there just to piss us off, and then radio people take the bait, and that's why we like to do this.
And now it's time for Feigned Indignance from Sports Talk Radio Guy over random summertime sports lists.
Although I'm not going to do the Feigned Indignance thing. But that's why we make fun of random summertime lists. But I do understand if you're a writer, you've got to drive web traffic, and if the sport you cover isn't in season and you don't have breaking news, you still have to produce content, so I get why you do lists. I get it. So ESPN listed college football's top 25 future power rankings. Not current. But they took cumulative data, a formula they put together where they sort of measured the future, the next 3 years of the quarterback position, the next 3 years of your offense, the next 3 years of your defense, and all that. They threw it together and said, okay, spit it out. This is the next 3 years of your football program. And LSU fans will probably be excited to know that after back-to-back seasons at 500 in the regular season and one game below 500 because of the absurd Texas Bowl against Kansas State when LSU played a receiver at quarterback, you were a game below 500. That over the next 3 years, this ESPN metric is projecting LSU as the 10th best program in college football over the next 3 years. We previously talked about their quarterback ranking at 16, which I disagree with. So they rank the offense at 16, the defense's future ranking at 9, and the overall team ranking 10th. Maybe the best part about that, though, by the way, is, yes, LSU at 10 is you'd love for them to be lower, but Bama is 1, Georgia is 2, Ohio State is 3, Texas A&M 4, then Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Michigan, USC. So that means only Bama, Georgia, and Texas A&M are projected ahead of LSU over the next 3 years. Now, first of all, let me explain why this metric is absolutely stupid and we should not put any stock in it, which is kind of begs the question why I'm even talking about it. But the transfer portal has made grading a roster impossible. Because part of this metric is you look at the signing classes collectively and cumulatively that you've signed and what it's going to be like over the next 3 years. Guys on the roster currently, this new signing class, guys currently committed ahead, and that's how you kind of put together what it's going to look like. The problem is, how many of those guys, even the highest rated, are guaranteed to stay with your program? I'll give you an example. If we had looked at this metric in 2020, five-star tight end Eric Gilbert, the highest rated tight end in the history of the 247 rankings, was an LSU Tiger, and you're projecting him with LSU for 3 years. You got him for half of a COVID season. You think that alters the rankings? Yeah. Five-star linebacker Drew Sanders, who was with Alabama last year, played sparingly as a freshman. He's now at Arkansas. Does that affect the rankings from a year ago to now? The transfer portal's changed it all to where it's no longer about projecting a roster for 3 years, because what you have now in college football is more similar to free agency in sports, where you can go out and turn your roster over and go from worst to first and be super competitive. Like, it is possible now in college football. Michigan State was a great example of that a year ago under Mel Tucker. Nobody used the portal more to their advantage in college football a year ago than Mel Tucker and Michigan State. And my guess is, at the end of this coming season, we're going to look at college football as a whole and say the very same thing about this LSU team. And Brian Kelly did it not because he wanted to, but he did it out of necessity. You all know the numbers. They had 39 players in the bowl game. They had massive defections. It was just a disaster at the end of Ed Orgeron's era. You saw it. He had to go hit the portal to put together a competent roster that could compete in the Southeastern Conference. And he did. And we'll see how many games they end up winning. I mean, I sure hope that they can push this, what I think is their glass ceiling of 9 wins, and maybe win 9 and get a bowl win and get to 10. It would be a magnificent year 1 under Brian Kelly. I think he's a great coach. He's assembled a really good staff. I think he's got buy-in from his players. You're going to have structural organization that did not exist under the previous staff. And for all of those reasons, I think it's going to be a net win for LSU over the next 3 years and beyond, because Brian Kelly is going to be here for 10 years. When you look at the contract, they are pot committed. He will be here. But on one hand, it's nice to look at this and show that LSU is going to be considered among college football's elite over the next 3 years and sort of reclaim its rightful place among the top. But the flip side of it is it's hard to put any stock at all in this because, I mean, when you look at the number of transfers and grad players that LSU had this year, you're going to have massive roster turnover next year as well. There's the NIL component of all of this. Then also, with the new signing, the elimination of the hard cap of 25, it changes the way you build a roster. It's just, there's no way to try to accurately project anymore what it's going to be like over the next 3 to 5 years within a program. The one thing that you could look at, and I think this is singular, is the stability at head coach. That's the thing. If you have a stable head coach in place that you believe is going to be there, that you trust to scout, to manage the roster, and to be able to recruit and then coach up the talent you have, I mean, that's your trump card. And that's why Alabama's going to be there, and that's why USC is going to be there because of Lincoln Riley, and that's why Georgia's going to be there because of Kirby Smart, and certainly Ohio State deserves to be right there in the top 5 as well. They're listed at 3rd on this list. Texas A&M, and I know we like to laugh, and people call them Texas 8-4 and all that stuff, but Jimbo has won a national championship, and he should have the talent now in place to be able to compete again. We'll see if they actually can. Michigan at 8, I certainly question if Jim Harbaugh will be around and if they can maintain that level. And when they finally got into the playoff, they got shellacked. Miami at 11 is going to be interesting. I mean, Cincinnati at 12, I don't know how that works at all, having Cincinnati anywhere near the top 15. Oregon at 13, Utah at 14. All of that, we'll see how it plays out. But give me stability at head coach, a proven winner at head coach, a proven program builder, roster management, a coach that's got good eye for identifying coaching talent, replacing talented coaches whenever they inevitably lose them with other talented coaches. And Brian Kelly has all that. And it's a part of the reason why you should have tremendous confidence that LSU is going to be among the nation's elite in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, again, where they've been for much of the last 20 years. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.